Welcome to the Geno Smith Experience. I will be your guide today. My name's Adam Wilde. This is brought to you by RunTheSims. This is Sunday night showdown talk. So we've got Seattle heading to Pittsburgh with 43-point over under. That's lower than we've seen in a long time this year. And Pittsburgh is minus 5.5 at home. Of course, the injury to Russell Wilson. That is why it is the Geno Smith Experience this week. He's going to be out for some time. He's on IR. So obviously at least 3 weeks. Chris Carson was also placed on IR with a neck injury, so that's troubling. It has gotten worse and worse for Chris Carson, and now he has landed on IR. So we've got Alex Collins for the foreseeable future, and we know that backfield's not going to be 100% Alex Collins, so we'll try to dissect that later. We've got Rashad Penny out, so it's going to be DJ Dallas and Travis Homer that we're trying to figure out behind Alex Collins. Both of those guys are under 1,000, so we're going to have to figure out what to do there. DK Metcalf's on the injury report. He was limited, but he's fine. He's going to play. Nothing I could find there. Penny Hart, Dwayne Eskridge, he's going by D now. D Eskridge, he's going to be out this game again. So we're going to get some Freddie Swain again. On the Pittsburgh side of the ball, you've got Anthony McFarland. He's been out. Chase Claypool's on their injury report. He's full persistent. He should be fine. Washington's also should be fine. And, of course, Juju Smith-Schuster, likely season ending. I think there's some way maybe he could play in the playoffs, but I don't even see the Steelers getting there. So that's what we've got in terms of injuries. Let's head over here to the optimal results. Najee Harris is going to be in most lineups, most winning lineups, 66% he's appearing. And that's 20% captain, really high for a non-quarterback. So Najee Harris is going to be super chalky, but he's probably worth eating the chalk. I don't think that I'm going to be fading much of Najee. I know that I usually like to try to fade one of the higher end players. And that's one way to pay off and get contrarian. But I don't see that happening with Najee Harris when the guy gets like 10 targets or whatever. He got 19, tied for second in NFL history behind him, only Alvin Kamara in single game targets. And this could be another one of those games for certain. Both defenses are susceptible to the run and the pass, but Seattle is bottom 5 in every statistical category for defense. So Najee should have no problem getting it done on the ground and through the air. Definitely a staple of lineups, worth playing in every lineup and just making it a 5-player slate. I mean, sometimes that happens. DK Metcalf, probably my second favorite play in the slate. My first favorite play of the slate is Tyler Lockett. So we'll get into both of those. DK Metcalf is appearing in 16% of the captain spot, 54% of total lineups. And then Tyler Lockett's right there with them, 14.6% of the captain spot, 50% of the total. So this is why it's a Geno Smith week for me, because everybody thinks that they need to decide on DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett, and it's either a DK Metcalf or a Tyler Lockett week. That's fine, because on main slate, that is usually how it goes. They're not going to both pop off at the same time, but they don't need to necessarily go nuclear to be the best play, in optimal lineups. So I do like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett captain both, and I will have some of both in 20 max, but I really like actually playing Geno Smith and captain. I know he's only appearing in 3.9% of total lineups at captain. But I really want to play DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett together because it's contrarian, and they both are going to come in at even lower ownership because nobody's going to want to play Geno. So Geno Smith actually looked fine in his 2 drives. And honestly, if Tyler Lockett doesn't fall down on that last play, he got tripped. If he doesn't get tripped on that last play, it was actually a decent pass to Tyler Lockett, and we're having a totally different conversation. Maybe Geno gets them down the field, they kick a field goal, they're still going to lose by like 5 points, but it doesn't matter. It would have looked a lot better for Geno Smith. And in Geno Smith's 1 touchdown drive, he looked phenomenal. And it's not even just that he looked phenomenal. He was getting it done on the ground. We saw Geno Smith moving around more than we did, 4 years ago when we saw him as a starter. So I'm not afraid of playing Geno Smith. I'm more afraid of playing Ben Roethlisberger than I am playing Geno Smith. And Ben Roethlisberger is $600 more. And Ben Roethlisberger is going to be higher owned. So if people want to feel comfortable with Big Ben and not play Geno Smith, more power to them. So this is my way of saying, I'm going to go against the grain. Maybe you're not super excited playing Geno Smith at captain, but it makes sense if you want to play DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett when Diontae Johnson and Chase Claypool are going to be so owned. I would venture to guess, we don't have ownership yet, but I'd venture to guess that both Steelers primary 2 receivers are going to come in at higher ownership than both of the Seattle primary two receivers. So, get DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett in there with Geno Smith, and maybe do a Seahawks 5x1 fit beautifully this week. Get down here to Ben Roethlisberger. He's appearing in 47% of total lineups, 5% captain. So essentially the same thing as Geno Smith. More reason to play Geno over Ben Roethlisberger if you're going to pick one. Diontae Johnson and Alex Collins are both appearing in 43%. Then we have a decent drop off to Chase Claypool, but we have an even distribution of captain, which I usually really like. It's just that Najee Harris happens to have 20% captain appearances. So don't necessarily like that because it's going to be hard to get away from Najee Harris captain. I don't necessarily want to fully fade Najee Harris captain either. So that's going to be a tough decision point. But if I have to make a decision between playing Diontae or Claypool at captain or DK and Lockett at captain, I'm going to play DK and Lockett at captain. I will definitely have Diontae Johnson and Chase Claypool in my lineups. The only player that I'm considering not playing at all is Alex Collins. He's fine at his price, and he is appearing in 35% of total lineups. We'll see what happens when ownership comes out, but I believe Alex Collins is going to be really highly owned, and I think that Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf aren't going to be fairly owned. So unless you want to play a 4x1 and try to cram in Collins, Metcalf, Lockett, and Geno Smith with some ancillary pieces, I don't necessarily like playing Collins just for no reason, especially since I want to get down here and talk about DJ Dallas. DJ Dallas is appearing in 22.2% of total lineups at the flex. He's even appearing in almost 1% of the captain spot with a total of 23%. And this was a huge conversation we had last week amongst the Run the Sims crew is what are we going to get between DJ Dallas and Travis Homer? I even tried to reach out to a bunch of beat reporters. I got one answer. It said that DJ Dallas was going to be involved in third downs with Travis Homer playing some basically change of pace work. That's not what happened at all. DJ Dallas was essentially just the backup, and Travis Homer got some very low value touches, two to be exact. So DJ Dallas had 4 carries and 2 catches at $600 and $200 cheaper than Travis Homer. I'll play a ton of DJ Dallas, which is another reason to either not play Alex Collins, or I guess you could play Alex Collins and DJ Dallas together. One of my favorite things to do is play 2 running backs from the same team on Showdown slates. Not a game I'm really going with defense, but Seattle's defense is appearing in 15.2% of lineups, and it is a low total. I just don't play defense when they're going to be relatively owned. People see these low totals and they play defenses. So usually that means I'm not. We'll see what ownership comes out as. If it's low ownership, then Seattle defense is in a good spot. We'll go over here and look at some of our custom lineups. We've got Tyler Lockett on the top 2 lineups, Najee Harris on the third and fourth total lineup. So let's talk about a Tyler Lockett and a Najee Harris before I go over and build some. We've got Tyler Lockett, Geno Smith, DJ Dallas, Najee Harris, DK Metcalf, and Jason Myers. I'm typically not going to put a kicker in my tournament lineups, but with a low total, I guess it does make some sense. This lineup has Najee Harris, Ben Roethlisberger, Diontae Johnson, DK Metcalf, DJ Dallas, and Travis Homer. So completely disregarding Alex Collins and then just punting with DJ Dallas and Travis Homer. I don't hate that. Homer did get 2 touches, but they were very low value touches and not very necessary. I actually feel like I remember that DJ Dallas might have gotten banged up for a play or 2. So I don't even know that Travis Homer would have been involved at all. So I don't think that I'm going to be playing much Travis Homer, but I do understand it. I do think it makes some sense. I think I'd rather punt with Freddie Swain and DJ Dallas, and that's a lineup that I'll get into in just a second. I will also wanted to talk about an Alex Collins captain. He's fine at captain. He'll probably be the 4th highest owned captain. So Alex Collins at captain with DK Metcalf, DJ Dallas, Diontae Johnson, Geno Smith, and Tyler Lockett. So I'm going to go over here to DraftKings and build a couple lineups, and then we're going to check out the projections. So we'll look at projections first. Najee Harris is going to be 22.6 points. So that's 4 points higher than the next highest projected player in terms of median projections. DK Metcalf's down here at 18, tied with Ben Roethlisberger at 18. Geno Smith is at 17, but I mean, I'll play Geno Smith over Ben Roethlisberger. Pretty much the same thing, 600 less, and like I said, probably less ownership. Tyler Lockett at 16, Johnson at 16. Claypool's at 13. I hope Claypool's ownership comes in less than Diontae Johnson because I think I'd rather play Claypool in this game. Alex Collins at 13 as well. And then James Washington at 8. James Washington, I forgot to talk about James Washington, but I think he's one of the best pieces to play on this entire week. As a starter, he tends to get good looks from Ben Roethlisberger, but beyond that, if you're going to have so much, ownership on Chase Claypool and Diontae Johnson, I like to take, two ancillary pieces from that offense that aren't the two primary pieces and stack those in like a 4x2. So like Roethlisberger, Najee Harris, James Washington, and Pat Freiermuth, for example, fading Diontae and Chase Claypool completely, and then bringing back like DK Metcalf and Alex Collins or something like that. So you get a ton of leverage, but you still get to stack the Steelers offense. Let me go to the actual game set that we're supposed to be playing. So Showdown, Sunday. Bear with me. Seattle Seahawks, Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, let's build a lineup. I want to start with Geno at captain. So Geno at captain, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and then DJ Dallas. That's how I want to start. And I'm going to start a bunch of my lineups that way. And then we've got 7,600 remaining for both players. So I'm probably going to go down to something like Gerald Everett is a player that I like. So Gerald Everett is 4,600. That's a little expensive for him, especially when Will Dissly is only 1,200. But people are still going to be playing Will Dissly. I mean, Will Dissly got a little bit of run with Russell Wilson, and then he got like 4 targets, I think, from Geno Smith in just 2 drives. So Will Dissly is a strong play at 1,200, but with Gerald Everett in large field tournaments at 4,600, I don't think anyone's going to play him with Will Dissly down there at 1,200. So I don't mind throwing Gerald Everett in there, and then that leaves enough for Diontae Johnson or Chase Claypool. Pick your flavor. It is fading Najee Harris, so that's a tough one. We could do probably Najee Harris and Will Dissly. Or Pat Freiermuth. I wouldn't hate that either. I like Pat Freiermuth enough. Freddie Swain, of course, Will Dissly at 16. So if you run Geno Smith at captain with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, DJ Dallas, Najee Harris, you can just pick your poison at anyone under 3,400. And I don't mind running this lineup. And at 20 max, I might take these 5 and just cycle through all the ancillary pieces and see if I can steal a touchdown from one of them. Another build that I wanted to try was Najee Harris captain, Ben Roethlisberger, and then skip on Diontae Johnson and Chase Claypool and try something like Freiermuth with maybe Washington. And then you have enough 65, so you've got enough for maybe like DK Metcalf and then an ancillary piece like Swain. So there's your Pittsburgh 4x2 without playing Diontae Johnson or Chase Claypool. So that's another good option there. Of course, Chase Claypool and Diontae Johnson captain spots are viable, totally viable, but you know how to build those. Those aren't going to be – you need to get contrarian with Najee at captain if you're going to play him at captain. Everyone's going to play him at captain. So you need to figure out how to get contrarian there. And then you also need to figure out if you're comfortable playing Geno at captain, which I'm very comfortable playing Geno at captain. Geno is my favorite captain of the week. So the more Geno lineups that I can put together, the better. I do want to fit Najee Harris in there. So that means I'm probably going to have to go down to like some Will Dissly and some DJ Dallas. Yeah, that leaves 10-4 left. So I can try Diontae Johnson. I can try Claypool. I can put Tyler Lockett in there. So that's the build I want to go with. I want Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Najee Harris, DJ Dallas, Tyler Lockett, and just cycle through the last players. That's what I think is going to get it done this week. So that's going to be it for us today. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Please send me some feedback, comment, like, rate, review. Let me know if you want to see something different. I mean, nobody wanted the Fanduel content, so I got back to Draftkings. If you want to see some Yahoo stuff, I can do some Yahoo stuff on the side. I mean, I can cycle through sites if you want to. So head over to RunTheSims.com, subscribe. You can do Yahoo. I mean, every week I do Yahoo, Fanduel, and Draftkings all in a row. Bam, 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 right on the site. Get my CSV for all 3. I do 20 max on all the sites. And it only takes me about 20 minutes. I download the CSV. I sort by ownership because I like to be very contrarian on these slates. And 20, 40 minutes out of my day before when I was doing this last year on my own, 2 hours probably each week. So definitely give it a try, and I appreciate you coming on. Check y'all next time. Peace.